aren't the droids we're looking for.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's them! Blast them!
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of, let's just call it Adepticon. It can be Tactics Talk, whatever you want to call it. Today I'm really just covering all of the new stuff, not in detail, really just my first impressions and reactions to what I think is a massive amount of content in a real delivery by AMG, making a very powerful statement of this is our game now. So I'm just gonna go right into it. The organization of this is pretty straightforward. I'm gonna cover the things in the order they were shown and just some initial reactions. The one thing that I'll say is I'm not gonna cover everything. I'm gonna say it and move straight along because I think some of this is pretty, you'll see it and you'll get it and we don't really need to talk about it per se. So let's just kick off right into it. First off, we have Ahsoka Tano coming up in Q2 of this year, right around the corner. Ahsoka is looking awesome. Also, a new thing introduced with this is the idea of starting to put your commanders into these units. So Ahsoka is not only a commander on the field, but she will also be able to be included in any clone trooper, giving her a ton of new stuff. Not gonna go in crazy detail. We'll give her a whole episode when the time comes to tell you everything about it. But for 110 points, she looks amazing, especially in a faction like Gar that's always struggling for points. And for a 35 point upgrade, our first commander inclusion in a unit is looking really good. Charge, block, independent dodge. Yes, it's only 2 black, 2 white, but for 35 points, that is a lot on a clone trooper unit. Her cards, her 1 pip is pretty much just gonna let her pop off and do tons of different things, kind of giving you a gamble of whether or not you're gonna let her get more attacks. But most importantly, she gets charge, as that is absent from her original card. She's got her 3 pip, which is pretty much just giving her Guardian 3 and disengage, making her a little more defensive. And then she's got a cool 2 pip that's really a 4 pip, where she kind of gets really defensive and stagnant in a way, but also just 2 units. So really cool card. Like I said, we just do not have time to give her justice because we are just going to keep marching along, but looks awesome. So many cool keywords: scout, immune pierce, independent recover. Her dice pool is kind of crazy too. 5 health as well, but 110 points, I'm here for it. Next up is Boba Fett and Mando just being reboxed. No need to talk about it. They're going to be in a new box. You can buy them together now. IG-11 and IG-88 just getting a pretty new box and going to be in that new plastic. AA-5 speeder truck, same exact thing. And then we have by far, I say by far, there's too much stuff to be excited about. We have my favorite thing that I got from Adepticon, which is something I had no clue was coming. Super excited for this, and that is the customizable commanders and operatives. If there is anything in a game that just speaks me, it's having your own unit that you can really kit out however you want. So I'm really excited to see what this actually looks like in terms of, they were kind of talking like a tech tree, I forgot what they called it. But it all depends on how you model it. This is just, I mean, this is amazing customization options, kit bashing, so many opportunities. They said 20-ish plus parts of interchangeable things. You'll have 2 models in each box to be able to work on and make 2 different guys of your choice. This is right up my alley, and I think it adds an element to this game that I really don't see in a ton of other war games I've played and experienced. Usually you just have different characters that meet those different requirements. It's a very unique thing for you to just build it and make it look the way you want to. So I am absolutely stoked for this. I know there's going to be so many people just excited to like make their own Jedi, but I think it's just as cool to have, like it has on the box itself, the Zubak with the minigun. Oh, so cool. So cool. I am so excited for this. I cannot express that enough. It's going to add a ton of flavor to that commander spot, giving players so much freedom. And you'll see this other box with the Jedi and the T-Series droids. I mean, heck, they had like the spider legs on one of them. That's what they were talking about in that beautiful art they showed. That's a really cool idea. And I'm really interested to see how it actually works and plays into the game. So that's going to be an awesome tactics talk engagement once we get the rules on these guys. But the fact that we're getting them this year too in Q3 for the Civil War, Galactic Civil War, and Q4 for the Clone Wars, I'm stoked for that. I won't go over these parts too much. Essentially everything that you want in Q3 of this year, with the Essentials kit's going to come out, giving you all the basics. It's going to, in Q3, include all of the cards for your commands and your new units. So the great thing about this, and I got to give AMG a lot of praise for these next two things. Number one, you don't have to buy them. Print and play is still going to be an option. Love that to death. There's too many war games that are going to milk you drive money any way they can. So huge shout out to them for that. Don't need to talk about the cards. You don't need them, but if you prefer to have the thing in front of you, there you go. Points will be removed too, so they feel less irrelevant as time goes on. Then we have our next big thing, and that is our starter boxes. These starter sets are coming in at $95. If we give AMG praise for anything, that is probably the best starting price point for any tabletop game of this size. It is very, very impressive that they have set these boxes at $95, as they said in stream. So with that being said, I mean, you can really get into Legion cheap, and we're going to explore that on this channel, showing you guys just how cheap we can get. But with that being said, you're getting brand new models, so even if you're a veteran or a new player, there's probably going to be a chance that you're picking one of these up, like me, who already owns way too much Legion. But I mean, I need 22 new Rebel Troopers, so sorry, gonna buy them anyways. But these boxes are 600 points for the new skirmish mode, and then on top of that, if you really mess around with these, I've already done some list building, you have more than 600 points. You will have models you actually don't use in multiple of these starter boxes. I'm not going to go into detail on which is the best one. Maybe we'll do a box by box review, but for now, just know that I really don't know how they made these $95, but with you getting all of the tools, dice, cardboard, objectives, I mean, very, very impressive. If you want to know more details, just look on the back of these boxes and see what's in them. But for 95 bucks, very impressive price point to get into the game. They said they were pushing hard for new players, and every war game's biggest selling point is the starter box. This is amazing. That's all I'm gonna say. But yep, Empire one's, Rebel one's great, all new models. Empire one's great, all new models. Obviously, I mean, everything's new models, but I mean, there's just so much here. And like I said, just check them out in detail, which one you want to see. I won't go into all of them, but Rebel Troopers are in the Rebel one with Luke, Commander Luke, Wookiees, and Commandos, so they will look different from your core box set, so just understand that if you're familiar with that. So we'll move on from that. The next thing is the Imperial High Command. Once again, just another banger, bunch of characters that we all know and love, and one that everyone seems to forget. So yep, you got Tarkin, you've got Krennic, and then you've got Thrawn, and then I believe it's the guy that Vader chokes, but someone told me that was incorrect. So apparently he's from a comic book that I don't know about, which Vader needs him to help him out. So I'm just gonna pretend anything's correct on him, but I'm sure it'll be cool. But anyways, you get all these guys in the same box, so very interesting. I mean, that's a ton of new stuff coming your way as an Empire player, to get new models and 3 new commanders slash maybe operatives, who knows. Don't know the rules, but still awesome to get that much quantity and quality. Next up, super excited, clone stuff still on the way. No, you're not just getting Ahsoka and ARF troopers, you also have clone marksmen. Assuming these guys are going to be a core unit, and I'm super stoked for that, because I'm now seeing my DC-15s come back. The mortar and the RPS have also probably made their way back to that core slot, but more importantly, I'm guessing we have another range 4 unit added to GAR, and I love range 4, so I'm super excited to have that as an option. ARC Trooper boxes are coming as well. They'll be in the Q4 along with these guys, which are Q4 as well. So new box for the ARC Troopers. Nothing changes of now other than the models, but they actually look pretty good. Then we have Grievous on a wheel bike. Absolutely insane idea, but looks sick. Jared's got IRL pictures of these dudes. They're really, really cool looking, and with him, he's not by himself, which is even better. You can kit out Magnas and BX droids, which I believe they said actually do different things as well. And they also mentioned something about a speed or road. Mad Max is what I thought of. Mad Max Fury type battle force for all of these units. So super excited for this. It's going to be very unique and a very new addition to Legion. Following that up in Q1 of next year, we have Han and Luke on Tauntauns, continuing this mounted steed version. Then we get some probe droids. I mean, the probe droids, you know what they are, new unit. It seems like there's going to be 2 in a box, so go figure. After that, in Q3 of 2025, sorry, I forgot those were backwards. The Heroes of the Rebellion box is coming out. You got new Luke, yeah, 2 new Lukes, new Leia, new Chewie, and new Han. So if you're looking for those new sculpts as they are a little bit older, bada bing, bada boom, they're just going to pack them all right up for you. And you will also have options to get things like Commander Luke without necessarily having to buy the starter box. And that is also true in Q1 of 2026 when you can get Heroes of the 501st. Beautiful new Rex. Please, AMG, I know you gave me so much, but April, please, I want to see Impervious. Please. Anyways, Rex looks awesome. Super excited to see him again. Clone Wars Anakin's always a win for me. Obi-Wan's in his classic attire. So honestly, if you have the old models, now you just have cool options too. Echo and Fives have snuck their way out of the not the 501st box, but the ARC Trooper box to this box instead, as you really only need them once, and they get unique poses. So huge win for them to make them even more identifiable. 3D objective tokens, great. And then shout out to our good friend Randy, our one Shadow Collective player in our entire community. You do have more units coming your way, and I'm so happy for you. And heck, I'm happy for me too, because I haven't touched Shadow Collective in forever. But the Weequay Pirates look fantastic. I love that Hondo's in the box, but he can also be someone else apparently. They did say they had trouble bouncing these guys, so I'm very curious to see what they do. Hondo's Hondo, he's got so much personality. If you don't know him, figure it out. If you do, you already know what's going on here, so we don't need to talk about this. His card just looks insane. Not going to talk about everything. Essentially, his pip determines his mood because it is based on profit, and that includes what pip he plays is pretty much X on all of those things on his card. And I think things can get a little crazy, but he's essentially just seems like he's going to be an absolute scumbag and doing tons of dirty tricks to score, win games, and play. And it looks like he's going to everybody's faction, so I'm sure there'll be a broken way to play him. But regardless, looks super cool. So excited they added some stuff to what looks like a mercenary Shadow Collector, however you want to put it. Regardless, they'll be able to work together. But his cards look cool too. I'm not going to go into detail on them. Another ginormous model and win for the faction, or realm, as I may call it at this point, is the WLO5 speeder tank. Also super cool. They even added the modelings for the different Shadow Collective members, so I'm assuming these are all, I mean, we know they're going to, but still, they're going to work together one way or another. So very excited that they're going to also have a real heavy option and not just borrow the AA5 and pretend it's theirs. 2025 schedule, you guys can see here on the releases for everything I talked about. If you're like, oh, I want to know when that came out, or when do I get to make my own Jedi, you just need to check this out, because there's no way you're going to remember everything I talked about when it's coming out. The big thing I want to talk about is make sure if you're showing someone to get into the game, or you yourself are getting into the game, or starting an army, whatever it is, and you're collecting models, really pay attention to what is going to be available. In other words, if your buddy wants to get into the game for Clone Commandos, it might be a minute. And so we need to be really honest with ourselves about what's going to be available, because that's, I'm not going to call it a downside, but it's a challenge that AMG has to overcome, because in 2026, what you're going to see here on the reissue schedule, our last one, is every single unit and when it's coming out. So most of our reboxings are going to be next year. Okay, it's really not as far away as it seems, but like Darth Maul and Sith probe droids are all the way in Q4 of next year. So it's over a year before you're going to get some of that stuff. B1 Battle Droid expansions, Rebel Trooper expansions, depending on what upgrade sprues are missing, or weapons I should say, you may not be able to run 8 droid snipers or 8 droid rad cannons, whatever isn't in the new B1 heavy box. So just understand that we have to be very adamant as a community, being knowledgeable that there are going to be some things missing from the shelves. We've been missing B2s for a long time, but they're one of the first ones coming back as well. So I plead with all of you to also be patient, because obviously that's going to be tough not being able to get some models, especially for new people getting into the game, but communicate that very clearly with the people getting into the game, so there's less of a feels bad when they're collecting their GAR army and, you know, maybe Padme hasn't been on the shelf in a year. So just be very adamant about that, and I think that that'll help our community out a ton. The last thing, they psyched us out and said it was over, and then it wasn't, and that's because April 15th we are getting points and the rest of the cards, essentially. I can't confirm nor deny that there will be multiple cards that have changes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of our things like Rebel Commandos that doesn't have an alt art card yet is going to get one that has new abilities, just like these guys. Callus has an old card, Lando has an old card, Jin has an old card. Essentially, if it's old art, I wouldn't leave it up to grabs that there will or will not be new keywords, points, dice on each one. But we've already seen that that's not the case for every unit. Like B1s didn't change from what I remember at all, but they got a new art. So Stormtroopers as well went from black melee to white melee. So little things like that. Just be on the lookout for a massive change April 15th. I think this is going to be a little bigger than we realized, but they did tease us with 3 different units. Once again, we just do not have time for all this, but Jin is essentially a super trickster now, an operative as well. She has independent move and disengage, so Rebel players are going to have a field day doing all the annoying things to just make your life miserable. Callus has the craziest card change I think I've ever seen. He has Bounty now. He's also an operative, free observe, direct trooper. Once again, operative, very unique interaction there. And it seems like he got reduced to 5 health as well as Jin. And I think if you sneak at the bottom, his bow staff just looks like it's going to be on his card and not like an upgrade that you have to flip over since he automatically has charge and immune pierce. Lando's got Guidance Core Trooper, Allies Convenience, 1 step ahead, which I believe is some weird interaction between pips. If you like tie, another unit gets to move. If you lose or whatever, a different unit gets to move. I don't remember. It's just free movements for depending on if you tie or what type of pip you played. Steady's very cool as well. Uncanny Luck, long shot but range 2, more dice though. Go figure. Callus has Interrogate too, so go figure. There's tons of new stuff here. You can look at these 3 cards all day and check it out for yourself. But big changes for all 3 of these units, and I think Rebel players are just going to be even more happy, unless their sleeper cells get nerfed. Please. Anyways, continuing on. The last thing is nothing. That was it. That's everything. I give AMG credit. This is a lot of good content for the next 2 years. They really have buckled down and got everything AMG oriented, and I think that tactics talk wise, really what this is above anything is a discussion on what we should do with this information, and the answer is promote it like crazy, because they said it themselves. They want to get new players in the game, and nothing is more true than that by our last thing here, which is the card packs. They're going to have new kits that are all oriented around you showing up, playing games, filling out boxes, and you could get shiny cards. So all of a sudden we also have Star Wars Unlimited making its way into Star Wars Legion. But as crazy as that is, it's very cool. It's very motivating to go just play a game with a friend, but also you have a chance of like a super foil Maul command pip, and that's going to be cool to play against people that have those. It's a flex, it's motivation, it's a reward just for showing up, and that's what you want, especially for new players, to feel like they're getting something, even if it's just a shiny card. It's such a huge motivation. But the biggest thing we have going for us as a community is now when they walk in the store, they're going to see a little bit of yellow on these Legion boxes, and they're going to say, what's that? So I think we have a really big opportunity to nurture this in a way as a community to really grow like crazy, or we can just kind of take it as our own and be like, yeah, new players, stay over there. There's nothing available for you yet. You don't have clone commandos like me because they're sold out. Just nurture the communities, and I think this will be a great opportunity for everybody. So our tactics talk is just, guess what? Use what AMG gave us and make it a great year. So I'm super stoked, super excited. If I missed anything, sorry, but that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed Adepticon and got to see all the new stuff. I'm super stoked. Let me know in the comments below what you're most excited about, or better yet, what you're most scared of, depending on what's going on. For me, super stoked to make my own character. I'm gonna have the most buff Z6 wielding fool, and he better throw like 20 dice. Anyways, till next time, good luck, have fun.